Welcome back to Exploring Whiskeys. I'm Eric.
I'm Kevin, and today we're going to jump back into the Starlight Distillery. So this is the Starlight Straight Bourbon. And specifically picked this up because of how crazy the Starlight bourbon that was finished in, was it sherry?
Yeah, but it tastes like
raspberry jelly.
Or blackberries or some kind of jam.
Yes, exactly. That one was so interesting. Really wanted, as soon as I saw this on the shelf, I was like, oh, totally need to get this and see what's their base juice like. So here's their base juice. So this is their straight bourbon. It is a 4-year bourbon, which it has to be 4 years, but technically. Without an age, it needed to be 4 years. This has an age, it shows 4 years. So we have that, and we've got a bottle open. Bottle open, so not a kill, but we got a bottle open, so we get a thumbs up for the bottle open, please. Or as Eric says, swipe the like.
Swipe.
So
this one's got 2 different mash bills though.
Yeah, it is we went through some of the background there. It's like a huge farm. They distill pretty much everything.
They grow a lot of their own stuff. There were vodkas and brandies and
grappas and anything that you can distill, they do it. Rums, vodkas, all of it. Gins. They got into the whiskeys, but they don't run them as one, they don't run them with any consistency, which is the fun part.
But
so the father runs it, the 2 sons run it. They run them on separate dates. They have their own mash bills. They kind of do their own things. So to your point, this is a blend of 2 mash bills. So there is a
father and 1 son, or 2 sons.
It didn't specify that one. But a 60% corn, 20% rye, 20% malted barley, which is crazy. That's a lot of malted barley to put in there. And then the other mash bill is 51% corn, so just barely a bourbon. And then 20% rye, so they're both 20% rye, 20% malted barley, and 9% wheat. So technically, it's a 4 grain.
So you think it's going to be sweet? The corn and the wheat? That's
a lot of corn, but the malt is what's going to, I think, throw everything off. I'm not sure what 20% malt in a...
You don't get much on the nose.
Bourbon's going to be like, because I'm thinking of all the heavy single malt type whiskeys we've had, that impact into them. I'm not sure. No, you're right. That is a light nose. Just a touch of ethanol, but that's not super noticeable.
I get that young note.
A little bit. It's a little sharp.
Yeah.
There's a little sharpness there. Maybe a touch of a sweetness.
Some oaky.
Maybe some oakiness. Yeah. Nothing super strong. Nothing really standing out. Ooh, that dries out. That is oaky.
But it has that sweet finish.
Yeah. Caramely or vanilla? It's one of those. Wasn't what I expected off the beginning of it.
I'm going to say more corn.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. So the fact that it's 4-year, it's got a pretty dark look to it. They do talk about the fact that they use 53-gallon barrels.
Smaller.
Pretty small barrels. You're getting a lot of wood exposure for the amount of liquid in there. So that's one thing. And then
3 different cooperages.
Different cooperages. So I gotta assume that means different shaped barrels, sized barrels, different toastings, different charrings, different heads.
So different barrel styles.
Yeah, style. So that's what I was thinking. What's the one where there was a cigar one?
Yeah.
So there's even more wood exposure. So I kind of expected a lot of oakiness off of this. I get a lot of oakiness off of this. The rye's not super noticeable. I was just figuring
I get a little bit more on the nose now. Go back to it.
I was figuring 20 between both blends. I thought, oh, well, rye's going to show up a good chunk.
But
that's
I'm
not crazy.
also getting more of that artisanal
A little
nose.
bit. Yes, I would agree. A little bit more of that
heirloom
grain artisanal thing. Yes.
Like the farm to table bourbon.
Well, that's kind of what they are, right?
It is, yeah. But no, I get a little bit of that on the nose. And again, for us on the show, those have been kind of hit or miss.
Mostly miss. All right, so I go back to taste it. I get a little oaky. I get a little spicy, like a pepper or spice note in there. There's a little bit of a sweet note in that as well. it dries out and it just, it kind of, it's not overly complex. I was kind of, I mean, it's a 4-year bourbon, so I wasn't expecting like crazy complex, but with all the things they're doing with the barrels and the mash bill, it's not nearly as crazy as that finished one that we had.
No, it's just very dry. The finish is very dry, and oaky.
Yeah, lots of oak.
But again, back to your point though, if it's a bit longer barrel, spending more time hitting that,
yeah,
it should pick that up.
Yeah, long, small, at 53 gallons. Yep. I mean, that's a small barrel. It's a quarter keg, right?
Yeah.
Quarter keg of a barrel.
I don't think it's that bad though.
It's not bad. No, all right.
It's definitely not as
I'm being nitpicky.
fruity as
it's not as crazy good as that finished one.
What is that bottle?
Yeah, hold on.
Over there.
There it is. Yeah. Yeah, so this one is finished in sherry barrels and is also 4 years old. And I mean, you can see the color difference. That's a pretty solid color difference there. Like you see right through that one. That's very dark.
Yeah.
This is amazingly good. That's good. This was just so neat.
An ounce of each of them together.
What?
An ounce of each of them.
Oh, blend the two? All right, so it's a little, for me, a little too oaky. A little too dry. It's not, for a bourbon, that's not really where I'm going. You know, most of the time I'm thinking bourbons, I'm thinking that sweeter caramel, vanilla, brown sugar type thing. I'm not getting a whole lot of that. I get a lot of the oak and the spice on this.
I'm trying to think for the price point, given that it's low to mid 30s.
Yep.
Cocktail.
I mean, anything where you're throwing in some simple syrup to it would be pretty easy. So an old fashioned would work fine with this, especially a little simple syrup and that kind of thing. I think that would be
the old fashioned would be the cube, sugar cube, and you muddle the fruit.
Muddle it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think anything like that would be
Not even
fine.
bad in Manhattan. I mean, it's not a rye, which is a traditional Manhattan, but
it'd be okay. The vermouth and
the sweet vermouth, a couple splat. You pick your bitters, which flavor you want.
Yeah.
Splash of cherry juice when you put the cherry in. Obviously, it's slightly drier.
Right. That's going to be the thing. I'm trying to
more
think
of like
of
a martini.
Almost.
Yeah.
Oddly, could you do a whiskey martini somehow? I don't know.
Who talked to Adam? Our mixologist.
Yes. Which I know we haven't done those episodes for a little while. We are going to get back. Life happened. That's we're going to go with that. Life happened. Things got busy. We'll get back to it.
I think though, I mean, for these guys, I mean, family-owned operation.
Solid.
I think it's pretty solid.
It's very solid, and it's a great base for, I think, some of the other stuff that they do, because this is literally their base whiskey. And the fact that it's from Indiana. It's not MGP. That's so cool. I just think that by itself is just kind of neat.
Don't they pull the water from the local creek too?
No, that was Tanner Creek.
Tanner Creek, sorry.
Which was actually MGP, but by MGP for MGP, or whatever.
Yeah.
By Hoosiers for Hoosiers. No, that was Tanner's Creek. But I mean, it's on a farm. They're in the middle of a farm. They're doing some distilling. It sounds like they're just...
Yeah, they got their start in some other stuff.
Yeah.
And they decided to, dip their toe in the bourbon world.
Yep. Not bad.
I would buy it. For $35, $35.
It's worth it's a bar. It's a good mixer. It's definitely a bar whiskey. That's fine. No problems
and
at all.
The other bottle was pretty tasty.
Yeah, it's yummies. That one's yummies.
So out of this lineup, is there any more? Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. There's finishes, there's cask drinks, they have, I want to say 7 or 9 different whiskeys themselves. And then again, gins, vodkas, grappas, whatever. They distill anything you can possibly distill, they do it.
Is it worth a road trip?
Probably be a really cool road trip. And
where is it in Indiana?
Starlight, Indiana. So it's only 20 minutes north of Louisville.
Okay.
So, and since it's also a vineyard,
the wives can go.
Take the wives. They can drink the wines. We can drink the whiskeys.
Bottle number 2 in the Starlight lineup?
Yeah. Well, keep an eye out for it. I mean, this did not blow me out of the water the way that the other bottle did. But
knowing it's from Indiana and it's not MGP,
yeah,
Like
it's
they-
different. It's good. I definitely think,
it's definitely that cross between an MGP and that artisanal for me. It's
a little bit.
got notes of both.
yeah, a little bit.
So
I can see it. It is artisanal in theory. It's if it is truly artisanal, it's probably the best artisanal bourbon we've had.
yes,
Take that for what that is. And at $35 for 92 proof bourbon.
And for if it
You
is,
throw all those things together, a 4-year, 92 proof, $35.
and the other artisanals
bad.
we've seen are all
Way more
60
expensive.
60
and
plus.
a lot of times like 3 years. So
A lot of those should have just stayed in the barrel at least another year.
yes,
or two.
they should. I think it's still a solid bourbon. I think they're still doing some really cool things. I obviously prefer their finishes, so I think that's what I'm going to keep an eye out for. And I know they have some other ones, so let's do it.
Keep an eye out, and maybe we'll cross paths up there. Number 2 in the books.
Yeah,
Obviously, we've got quite a few more to track down.
yeah.
Maybe make even a pit stop up there. So again, hope you enjoyed this review. Again, it's good. Not as good as the first one,
Yep.
but we've got plenty more to track down. So hope you enjoyed it. Again, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, as always, we encourage you to hit that like button at the bottom of the screen.
While you're down there, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Let us know if you've had anything else from Starlight that you really like. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, this or really anything.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that they make that is worth
Sampling. Yeah.
So, well, we appreciate you watching. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for watching.
Cheers.
Cheers.